All indications are that Russia has once again shown its true criminal face. U.S. experts proved that an Azeri airline plane was shot down. The attack resulted in the deaths of 38 people. Russia is to be held responsible for the crime. Unfortunately, this is not the first such barbaric act of Vladimir Putin's state. This is the moment when the plane collides with the ground. The tragedy could have been prevented, but no Russian airport agreed to make an emergency landing. There were 67 people on board. 38 of them died. Russian propaganda, in its characteristic manner, has begun to brainwash the public that nature, in the form of fog and birds, was responsible for the tragedy. However, U.S. experts argue that the plane was shot down by Russian missiles, as evidenced by marks on the wreckage of the plane.
Once I saw the photos of the damage pattern on the tail of the airplane, it seemed likely that it was potentially caused by an air defense system, just because the shrapnel pattern was consistent with being shot down by a surface-to-air missile.
Allowing international experts to investigate is the only way to guarantee an honest investigation. This was lacking, for example, in 2010 in Smolensk, when Prime Minister Tusk placed the entire case in Russian hands. As noted by Antoni Macierewicz, who investigated the Smolensk tragedy for years, there are many similarities between the presidential Tupolev and the downed Azeri plane. After the explosion of the left wing, the Tu-154 plane began to fall and turn around. This plane, after the explosion, began to fall downwards very effectively, and it very effectively fell downwards. And this can be seen in the flight of the plane. It's flying straight, and all of a sudden, it's perpendicularly falling. Anodina's hypocritical report insinuated that the so-called armored birch was the cause of the Smolensk tragedy. Now similar rhetoric has been used, blaming it on a flock of birds. It is shocking that there is a consistent attempt to erase Smolensk from the entire list of Putin's crimes and treat this event in a special way, as if Putin was some kind of angel of peace during this period. Vladimir Putin's entire presidency is strewn with corpses. In 1999, when he stood at the head of the state, his subordinate services, in order to escalate the war in Chechnya, did not hesitate to sacrifice their own citizens. The GRU blew up apartment blocks full of civilians, even in Moscow, then shifted responsibility to the God-fearing Chechens. It was around midnight when there was such a powerful explosion that all the windows in my apartment blew out. The balcony doors were closed at the time, and I had the feeling that the whole apartment would explode. In 2004, terrorists took children at a school in Beslan hostage. On Putin's orders, the military entered the school. The bloody operation killed 334 people, mostly children, including just 32 terrorists. In Russia, the Tsar is one. Vladimir Putin always deals with internal opposition the same way. Alexander Litvinenko, Anna Politkovska, Boris Nemtsov, or Alexei Navalny, opponents of Putin, get killed. Russian imperialism is characterized by hatred of other nations. In their mind, Russians have a duty to impose their power on other independent states. This was the case in 2008, for example, when the Russian army invaded Georgia. Vladimir Putin first annexed Crimea in 2014 and triggered a war in eastern Ukraine, then launched a full-scale invasion 8 years later. He is the one responsible for the Bucha and Borodyanka crimes, among others. In one day, we collected about 30 bodies lying there. Some of them were shot in the head. Some of them were killed blindfolded and their hands tied. The Russians have experience in shooting down passenger planes. The whole world watched the 2014 attack on a Dutch-Malaysian airline plane. There were bodies in my village. The sunflowers had bloomed, and people were looking for bodies in the fields. There was one woman. Her body fell through the roof into her kitchen. Bodies were scattered over a huge area. The crime, as well as many others, got away with Putin. The question is, when the world will finally shake up and stop his crimes? The West must understand that Russia, as it is not a conversation partner. South Korean protesters gathered on Friday, December 27th, calling for the immediate resignation of impeached President Yoon Suk-yeol, after acting President Han Duck-soo was also impeached by the opposition-led parliament. More than 1,000 rallied near Yoon's residence in Seoul, calling on him to step down and celebrating the impeachment of Han Duck-soo. Also on Friday, the Constitutional Court held its first hearing to review whether to reinstate Yoon or remove him permanently from office. It has 180 days to reach a decision. I think it's a good thing that Han was impeached. Honestly, Han Duck-soo has exercised his veto multiple times, but veto isn't something meant to be abused like that, so I believe he was completely unreasonable. In a way, isn't he practically a little Yoon Suk-yeol? So I think that this impeachment motion is a good outcome. Even if an individual's power is tenuous, when many people come together, it's no longer weak. So that's why I came here, to add up my power, even if it is just one more. Prime Minister Han Duck-soo, the acting president since Yoon was impeached on December 14th for declaring martial law on December 3rd, was impeached after he declined the opposition party's request to immediately appoint 3 justices to fill vacancies at the Constitutional Court, saying it would exceed his acting role. Finance Minister Choi Sang-mok, who assumed the position of acting president while the cases of Yoon and Han are considered by the Constitutional Court, may also face removal if he too clashes with the opposition parties. The unexpected imposition of martial law and the ensuing political upheaval sent shockwaves through Asia's 4th largest economy and drew concerns from allies in the United States and Europe, who had seen Yoon as a key partner in efforts to counter China, Russia, and North Korea. In January, Belgium will become the first European Union country to ban sales of disposable vapes. The decision comes as a result of concerns about the use of vapes among children and the environmental damage they can cause. The move is part of an anti-tobacco drive in the Western European country, where government data shows most young smokers start the habit with electronic cigarettes rather than regular tobacco cigarettes.
Disposable e-cigarettes are designed to attract young people, to appeal to new users who maybe never smoked. And as a matter of fact, we see that emerge in our data on smoking in Belgium. We see that in recent years, the number of young people who started with e-cigarettes is larger than the number of people who started with traditional tobacco cigarettes. And so e-cigarettes are partly attracting a new generation of smokers, and this is simply very bad.
Supporters say vapes can help people to give up smoking regular cigarettes, but health authorities are concerned that their colorful designs and fruity flavors attract children. It is illegal in Belgium to sell vapes to anyone under the age of 18. I really like the taste, the fruity taste. I like it, and that's it. Yes, actually, I always buy those disposable e-cigarettes. I never buy refillable ones, because those are also harder to get for people who are underage. I do regret that, but I still plan to stop. But I think a lot of teenagers will suffer because of that ban. Some people support the ban. I think it's a good thing that it's been banned, at least in Belgium, because the aim is to quit smoking. It's not recreational, so the aim is to quit smoking conventional cigarettes. In a 2022 World Health Organization survey of 20,000 Belgians, 11 to 18-year-olds, 12% say they had used a vape in the last 30 days, more than double the amount in 2018. Germany and France are working on laws to ban single-use vapes. Britain, no longer an EU member, will ban their sale in June. Belgium hopes its ban will also reduce the environmental impact of discarded single-use vapes that contain plastics, chemicals, and a non-rechargeable battery. More than 360 swimmers from various countries braved the icy waters of Prague's Vltava River on Thursday, December 26th, paying tribute to Alfred Nikodem, a pioneer of winter swimming. The 78th Alfred Nikodem Memorial Swim saw participants dive into water temperatures around 4 degrees Celsius. Nikodem, a renowned Prague goldsmith, established the tradition of winter swimming in the Czech Republic in 1923. I'm toughening up because it is healthy and because I enjoy it. Swimming in winter is a good sport. I've been swimming for about 7 or 8 years. years. Why do I do it? I do it because it definitely improves my mood, keeps me fit. I'm always around young people. And what's special about today? It's the most famous cold water race, a gathering of cold water enthusiasts. Starting with just a few companions, the number of participants grew to over 50 within 5 years. The tradition has been upheld annually since its inception. Participants, based on their age and physical fitness, have the option of swimming distances of 100, 300, or 750 meters.